Hello, my name is Dale Wilhite. I live in the Franz Clymer at Mountain Village, Colorado. You can find out, if you want to find out anything about me, you can go to MySpace where I have a page there. This deals with the death penalty. It's always been my belief that there's always been a middle ground when it comes to the death penalty that I don't think anybody in society has really thought of yet. And I have pitched this before with great success. I've written it before. This is going to be the first time I'm doing this by video on this subject here. And I'll do my best to explain it, how it works. And it's not going to satisfy both sides, and it's certainly not going to satisfy those who believe the death penalty is wrong. But it's a start. It's a middle ground, you know, and it's something. But to me, it's a very personal thing, because in a few minutes you're fixing to find out why. This is very personal for all of us, and it's something that we should have a say-so in when it comes to the death penalty. In fact, it should be, I would think it would be constitutional, that I would believe the courts would rule that we have a constitutional right to make certain decisions as public citizens when it comes to the death penalty. Simply put, it's my belief that when it comes to the death penalty, that the victim, a homicide victim or victims, should have a say as to whether the person that murdered him, her, or them is executed or not under certain circumstances. Now, of course, you're going to say, well, how are they going to do that if they're already dead? There is a way. Let me give you an example. Somebody comes and murders me, a single killer, random killer, break in, stealing property, kills me. Okay, has never committed another murder. It's not ever been in prison before for the crime of murder. So I'm it. Okay, now the question is, or a court would ask, or should ask, what would I want this person to face if that person is convicted for first-degree murder? Would I want that person executed, or would I want that person to spend life in prison? Obviously, my answer would be I want that person to spend life in prison. I don't think I'm worth being executed over. You see where I'm coming from? Everybody in America should have a right, you know, when they reach the age of 18, to state, whether it be in a living will, or the state can put something on the back of a driver's license where you can put an X or something to state, you know, what your preference is if you're the victim of a homicide, and that under certain circumstances, if you'd want that person who took your life executed or not. They could put that on the back of the driver's license for most people to fill out. It would be somehow, some way, a way that everybody in America can participate, can state what they would want ahead of time. So if they are a victim of a homicide, if their killer or killers are brought to justice and convicted, then before a jury and a judge decide the fate of that person, the jury will first, and the judge will first, hear what the victim would have wanted. Now, do you see where I'm coming from? Let's say, for instance, I can't think of his name at the moment. Let's just say some liberal actor somewhere, you know, that doesn't believe in the death penalty, like that one actor from MASH, or who's a very, you know, opponent against the death penalty. Well, obviously, if somebody took his life, he doesn't want that person to be executed, as long as that person hasn't executed someone else, obviously. That he should get his wish. That person should spend the rest of their life in prison if they're convicted for first-degree murder. That's what I would want, even though I do believe in the death penalty under certain circumstances, like Ted Bundy. He got exactly what he deserved. So did Eddie Rollins. That's all I'm trying to say, is that we should have a say-so in whether or not, if we are the victim of a homicide, whether or not that person is executed if they qualify for the death penalty. That's what I'm trying to say. And we should have that right. Again, there are other circumstances that are situations that have to be considered. That person may have committed more murders. So it may not matter. But I'm just talking about in certain circumstances where it's, you know, where it's a single murder. What would I want? I would want the judge and jury know I want that person to spend the rest of their life in prison. To me, that's a worse punishment than death penalty anyway. I'd rather be executed if I committed a murder. You see where I'm coming from? It is a middle ground. It is a right, and I think we have a right. Just like courts are given, the families of murdered victims the right to speak, before sentencing, and to face their accuser or face the person that took their loved one's life. Well, why can't we have the right to decide if we're the victim of a homicide, whether that person is executed or not? That's what I'm trying to say. You see where I'm coming from? So I can't go over 10 minutes on this video here, so I'm going to have to stop. But if you like the idea, please pitch the idea. Pitch it on the internet, pitch it to your friends, pitch it to your congressman. Make it a reality. Give it life. I can only provide the foundation, but you might be able to give it life. The more people that hear this, the more people that know about it, it might have life. And it might become a reality one day. And one day you may look up and see on TV somebody, a judge reading the will of someone who's stated whether or not they wanted someone executed if they are the victim of a homicide by that person. It could happen. And we do have that right. I think I have that right. How about you? Thank you for your time.